daughter of Persephone and Hades. And I've recently fallen pregnant with a child of Zeus, which was not my decision. I know that sooner or later he's going to come to recall his child, perhaps my body. I don't exactly know what his intent will be. No one ever knows what his intent will be. If only I was feared by him as Nyx's, or as one of the more powerful primordial goddesses are, but unfortunately I'm just a nymph. A nymph responsible for madness and nightmares. And in the same way that I'm living in a nightmare, and I'm being driven into madness, wouldn't it be nice to share the experience? Tell me, what is your worst nightmare? Is it by chance being burned alive, falling from a great height, your teeth falling out? No. Failing by chance, being chased? Well, in either case, I'm gonna snip away your nightmares for the sake of atoning for my own nightmares. If I have to live in a nightmare, I don't want anyone else to do so as well. I want to make sure that they are spared from the fate that I'll have to suffer. So, tell me honestly, what is your nightmare? That way I'll just pluck it away and snip it. And you will no longer have that nightmare. You will no longer have that fear. I promise you that. For I'm the one who causes them. It isn't intentional, of course. It's merely a product of my own insanity. But what would you expect? I was raised in Hades. My father is Hades, and my mother is Persephone, a woman rumored to be far more diabolical, powerful, and bloodthirsty than Hades himself. My father's actually more of a peaceful sort of man. He just won a sore lot among the three Olympic gods. Zeus, Poseidon, and him. He was cheated out of the ocean and the skies, and he won the underworld. My mother, on the other hand, though she was also cheated out of being a harvest goddess along with my grandmother Demeter, she really came into her own within Tartarus, within Hades. So if you fear Tartarus, and if you fear Hades, then you no longer have those fears wrapped around your throat, choking you, because I've snipped them away. Whether it be being burned alive, falling, being chased, buried alive, failure, public humiliation, teeth falling out, zombies, death itself, a loved one rejecting you, being within the same world that you once escaped from, all of it, I'll snip it away from you as a way to appease my own madness. I assume that from my constant influence in giving people nightmares, that it in itself will render madness in the person. But I'm not going to be in charge of that anymore, especially after Zeus comes back for me. I think he might do away with me. By that I mean I think he might end up turning my body into an animal's, so that way I can't give birth to yet another child, which Hera will of course be upset with. But maybe if Zeus didn't go around taking or forcing himself onto others, then Hera would by no means have any reason to be upset. And even if she did get upset, why doesn't she direct that anger, that wrath, towards a man uprooting her principles, backstabbing her, and ultimately hurting womankind? It makes no sense, but that is why I admire my own parents all the more. Persephone and Hades. They really do stick by their morals. And last time I checked, other than my mother who he abducted, Hades never caused the same sort of havoc as Zeus and Poseidon have. Maybe instead of just snipping away your nightmares, I'll suck them away from you. As in, I'll eat the snipped away nightmares that I've cut away from you. And when Zeus comes around, I'll pour them into him and drive him into madness, the same way he's driven me into madness. How does that sound to you? I like that idea as well. But in order to do so, I must snip away more nightmares from you. So please, subconsciously, consider your worst nightmares and relieve them from yourself. Release them so I can just start snipping away as if it was an unpruned garden. My grandmother knows very much of unpruned gardens. It's a shame she wasn't able to protect either her daughter or her grandchildren from the wrath of her brothers. I mean, they are her brothers. You would think that she'd have some sort of power over them, but she attends to her garden far more than she does to the family. And the only reason we have winter is just because that's her best shot, her best card that she can play against Zeus, to have her daughter for only a few months out of the year. True, it's a deplorable act, but maybe if I caused a little bit of havoc and madness alongside the likes of Eris, then people will leave us alone, and there will be no more terrorizing of the goddesses and of the nymphs of this pantheon. But until then, I'll just have to succeed by my own merits and figure out ways in order to subdue the king, the god of gods, the king of gods. He thinks he can just take and force and do whatever he wants with others. Continue thinking subconsciously of your worst nightmares. Trust me, I'll keep you protected from any madness that might follow you as you descend into your own horrors, but I'll snip these away from you and take them away, eat them after you've left, and spit them in Zeus's face. He'll absorb them, grow mad, and a new world will be ushered in, dominated by the goddesses and the nymphs, freed from the violence that we have to be subjected to beneath the gods. Except for Hephaestus, or Hephaestus. He's the only one that I consider worthy. He's the only one that's very kind. Him, my father, Hades, even though he abducted my mother, which I still have difficulty reconciling, but apparently they're very much in love, so that's a very Stockholm Syndrome type love story. But I mean, if Beauty and the Beast can become a great story, why can't they? And who else of the gods? Apollo, I don't think I have any complaints against. He is a Don Juan, but he's a Don Juan who's never had any problems when it comes to disrespecting anyone. Ares has an anger issue though, and I think he has respect issues, let's say. Let me just finish off snipping the last few nightmares quickly because I can hear his thunder approaching. Those crash of lightning to signify his approach, that he's nearing us and is gonna take something yet that does not belong to him, and that he's gonna do whatever he wants with everyone else's lives. It's best you leave now. I think I have enough of your nightmares to do what I need to do with Zeus, so thank you very much for